Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 219 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. It is the weekly edition and I'm not in my shop today. I'm in our attached garage. So, and you can see I'm at the back of my truck, so chances are we're going to do a little bit of work on this guy today. So if you want to see what I'm going to install on here in this chapter, all you need to do is stay tuned. Well, yes, I'm in the garage that we park our vehicles in, and wow, we've got a lot of stuff in here now. We got two motorcycles. Oh boy, we've got lots of deep freeze equipment and fridge equipment in here. Like, it's getting a little crowded, and that's one of the reasons I decided that in this week I was going to get the changes made to my truck that I'm going to make. I have a little bit of a story for you first, and one of the reasons why I'm doing this upgrade. So, I don't know, a couple months ago maybe, yeah, it's end of February now, yeah, it would have been probably right around Christmas time. It was really cold here and the highways were a little bit icy, and Sheila and I were on our way into Saskatoon for our weekly trip. And we just got a couple miles out of town and there was a car in the ditch, actually quite far in the ditch. And it hadn't just happened. There was another vehicle there who was giving a hand. And one of the unwritten rules about living in an environment like this, when there's somebody in trouble, you help. So I stopped and talked to the guy who was he was much younger and he didn't mind crawling under the car in the snow and stuff, and I really appreciated him for that because I really wasn't dressed to be out there. But anyway, it turns out we needed quite a bit of tow strap to get to the car. You know, you want to keep the tow vehicle on the highway, and he didn't have enough, and I went back to my truck and I have a kinetic rope, and I think I had about 20 feet of tow strap. And eventually we did get enough to get out to the vehicle and tow it out. We hooked it onto his truck and pulled it out. And yeah, that made me realize I maybe need to be carrying a little more tow strap on my truck, and that kinetic rope is good. So I decided that I needed to do that. And one of the things that I felt I needed to keep things organized, I learned another thing that trip, that like I had some tools and stuff, but they were still in their plastic packs. And you know what? It's useless. If it's 30 below outside, your hands are cold and those packs are hard, and you're trying to get a screwdriver out or a little knife that you need, it's not easy. So I realized I had to unpack things and maybe we'll add a little bit of toolbox yet for that. But it's amazing what you need when there's a semi-emergency situation. So the upgrade that I'm going to make to my truck today to show you is just basically storage containers. So here, I'm just going to go get one. And voila, there it is. So these are storage containers that mount behind your wheel well of your truck. And I figured that if I had two of these, I actually have one installed already, I can show you that one. But if I had two of these, I could basically put tow rope in one of them or tow strap in one of them, and maybe some tools in the other one. And then kind of an added bonus today, as I was going through this, I had a canvas. It's called a Cargo Master, and it's soft shell bag, and I had that hanging here. And I thought, well, I just don't want to just get rid of that. So it's a very simple install for that thing, just two bolts, two 14mm head bolts. And I just unbolted it from here, and I bolted it onto the front of the wheel well on the passenger side. So now I have 3 containers that I can put stuff in, and that will end the loose stuff tumbling around in the bed. Not that that was a big problem before, but I have my hitch from my trailer that I have in the back here. But what I'm trying to do is get supplies out of the cab. So the cab we can use, like store grocery bags in there that we have to use now, and all those kind of soft things. Whereas anything related to the trailer or to tow ropes or to tools is in the back. Now, I have an added bonus on this truck when I bought it. By the way, this is my newest vehicle. It's 2013 truck. So to me, that's still new. But I put a tonneau cover on right away, roll and lock, which I've been very happy with. And so I can just put this in here, and yes, they lock and everything, but I don't even know if I need that, because if I need to, I'll pull the cover over, which I always do anyway, and lock it. So it's all pretty secure back here. The only concern I have, and I think I've got a way to deal with it, is I still haul plywood. I don't know if you can see this in the camera here, but this is my pre-finished birch that's going to become my base cabinet box material. That's coming up probably beginning of March. So I haul that from time to time, and with these 2 boxes in here, I don't think I'll have 48 inches between. I'll be able to check today. But if I don't, then I think maybe what I would do is put the tailgate up, swing the boxes out, put a furniture blanket over them, and put the plywood in over the end gate like that. Like, it's not that we're hauling things great distances. Like, I'd be hauling an hour tops, and we'd be home. So that's what I'm planning to do today. I'm going to install this one. Now, these boxes, of course, are from my favorite retailer, and that is Princess Auto. And why are they my favorite retailer? They're very much equivalent in the US, I would say, to a Harbor Freight. Not anywhere near as big. But I don't know what Harbor Freight's policies are, but at Princess Auto, if you bought something there, whether you have the receipt or not, if they know it came from their store, they will give you a refund if you don't like it. I've brought broken things back. I've brought all kinds of stuff back that nobody would have ever taken. So this way, I really appreciate that, especially when I was teaching. I could try things, and if it didn't work, I could bring it all back. So they have my respect and my business. Now, these boxes, they're their Powerfist brand. So, but I've looked on the internet, and this is a fairly generic box. It's marketed, there are different ones marketed under different names, but they're all pretty much the same, I think. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to quickly install this one. Not sure how much of that I'm going to show everyone, but we'll do some of the basics. I have a couple little problems here today. I think you can see this. There's a tow hook point here, or to tie your cargo down, and that kind of gets in the way. And the other problem is, for the locking latch, it needs to be about here. And I hope you can see that. I'll maybe make another section to this and show you that better. But it won't sit properly, so I needed to make another bracket to hold it to get it where it needed to be. But I've done it once on that side already, so I don't think this will be that big a deal. So with that in mind, let's quit talking and get to it. Well, I took the big cardboard box off earlier. It was a little bit beat up. No, there was no damage to the boxes inside. Square box with that funny cutout that always got bashed in. Both of my boxes were like that. But it's packaged pretty good. The box that the hardware came in was nicely done. In fact, it was actually quite hard to unpack because it was really in there. but I don't need that anymore, so I toss that away. Instructions? They're not very good. I went to Princess Auto online, and they have pictures, online pictures, and excuse me. That instruction book is online in pictures, and it's a lot clearer on the computer than it is in the book. So if you're wanting to know what to do, that's a good place to start. Now, there are other YouTube videos and there's so many of these things out there. They're not all, this is Powerfist brand, and they might have a little different setup, but all of them, they install very similarly. So the parts that you're going to use here, this bracket mounts onto the box itself. This bracket mounts onto the truck box. This is the latch, and I've gone over this a couple times. I'm not sure. I think it goes on like this, and the pull is up here, which is exactly what I want. Now the other side, when I installed this, the handle was down, and with the handle down, there's no way you can get to it. So it was just taking this one bolt out and flipping this around, and that took care of that. But I think they're built the same way, whether it's right or left. So my preliminary assessment is that this one fits the way it's supposed to. So we'll see how that works out. The other bracket that you're going to need is this black one here. Now this bracket goes on to the side of the truck bed, but where this needs to mount to latch on my 2013 Ram Outdoorsman, it's not flat there. So you can't mount it properly there. So what I came up with is, and I've already done it because this is just 3 pop rivets, and I think if you're doing a project like this, you know how to run a rivet gun. You could screw this on or weld this on, whatever you wanted. But I made this bracket, and instead of having the bracket this way to latch this together, there we go, I put it this way, and then I mounted it just high enough so that you have to lift the box up a little bit to release this. I did that on that side. And what that does is the latch keeps the front of the box up when there's weight in it. So I'm not sure how good that's going to work yet. I've just had this in, I haven't even had it in a week. So I've only made one small trip to town. Nothing rattled, it all seemed good. But so I'm going to do this one the same way. And if there are problems, I'll update you when they arrive. Okay, so the hardware is that's included. I was quite happy with it. It seems to work really well. And it's all labeled in bags like this. So if you follow the instructions, it tells you which hardware to use. That part of the instructions is actually pretty good on the sheet. So don't just throw the sheet away like I did. Keep it. Trust me, I would not have thrown that away if this was the first one going in. Okay, and there's just some bags of hardware here. Oh, this is from the other one. And the hardware quality seems quite good. So instead of just talking about this, let's get started. So the first thing that you would need to do is make sure none of this stuff falls on the floor, because if you drive your truck over screws and stuff like that, that could be bad. So I'm going to open the H and K screws. And the nice thing about this hardware, at least on the first side that I did, there was always a little extra. And I like that. I hate having to make sure that you get down to the last bolt, because that is frustrating. Okay, so I'm going to put the bracket on the box first. I'm hoping you can see this. Now, that's one bad thing about shooting all these videos by myself. I'm sure they'd be better if I had somebody holding the camera. Now, I want the bracket like this. Okay, let's just put a couple of bolts in just to hold it in place. Getting that first one in is always a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so, and the nice thing about this, I don't know if this shows on camera, but these are really nice threaded inserts in here. Like I think my impression of this is that it is quite well made. Sorry to step out of vision there for a second, but I need to get myself some tools. Okay. Not a big fan of Phillips heads, but... And I try not to tighten everything, which maybe I just did here, right away, until I have all the bolts in. And then, and I need a different screwdriver. There we go. Yeah, like I said, not a big fan of Phillips heads, but... And you just want to go slowly at first. Yeah, they go in good. It's a good hardware setup here. Now, being a universal kit, you're always going to come up with little problems. Just had a piece of plastic fall out. Not sure where. Oh, I see. It's the end of my rail for my roll and lock bed liner or bed tonneau cover. Okay, now we're going to flip over to this side and take this screwdriver, go back to that one, and these just go in. These are a smaller screw that screws the bracket onto the side of the box. Now this is the side that you're not going to see. This is going to be towards the bed. Okay, so that bracket's on. Okay, next, let's put on, where is it? I have a tailgate to work on here, and I'm still losing things. Okay, let's put this on. And there's a, I don't know if you can see it, there's a raised thing here that fits into. And I'm actually going to start with that first. I'm going to make sure that that's in. Because this is a little bit, is that adjustable? Yeah, it's all a little bit adjustable. At first, I have to admit, I thought this lock setup was fairly, well, how should I put it delicately? Yeah, junky. But you know, it so far, and this isn't very old, but it seems to work. So that part has been really good. Okay, get that in there. Okay, and that's tight. I'm just going to give it one little burp here. There. Okay, now we're going to put this guy on. And that's using more of the same screws that, same screws that are in there. If everything's right and you know what you're doing, these things don't take long to install. But the hardest part is coming up yet. But, and if worse comes to worse, I have one on the other side I can look at. on. Oh, that one's a little bit foobarred. Oh, that one's loose. Okay. Try a little different approach here. Well, that doesn't work. We're going to tighten these. Yeah, that's funny how when you're shooting video, things don't work out the way they should. That side I had absolutely no trouble with. This one, the insert is tipped over, and I can't seem to get it out. I'm going to try, that doesn't work, maybe this will work. A screwdriver needs to be smaller. These are the screwdrivers that I threw in my emergency box, but I realized after the last little emergency that I described that I had, they were in the package, and in the package they're completely useless. Okay, that is just not going. Well, I guess this one's going to go with 3 then. That insert, it's funny, the inserts I was just bragging about how good they were. Now, isn't so good. No, you can't get it from the inside. Oh well. Maybe if I can get it to start, we might be in luck here. Look at that. There we go. I think I just about gave up. Okay, so that is the toolbox. See how that works? And for some reason, this one's a little higher than the other one. I'm not sure what happened there. I'll figure it out later. This one's a little, it's about here. This part here is about here. So I'm not sure why that is like that, but this is much better. Okay, so everything's on the toolbox that needs to go on. So the next thing we're going to do is move this aside a little bit and mount the connection to the truck next. And I think I'm gonna come back to you when I need a couple of things and I need to go get them. So I'll be back when we're putting the brackets on. Okay, I'll be back. Here. Well, I did a little bit of work off camera because I don't know, I just find it hard to get the work done and shoot properly at the same time. So I kind of mounted the truck box part, you know, the bracket that goes onto the truck box to the truck. Now, what I did when I put this in is there's not really a written rule for this. You kind of have to figure out where it needs to go. For example, I've only got about 3/8 of an inch clearance here, so I'm happy with that. Now the reason it doesn't tuck in all the way is because of this strap point there. And I don't really know what to do with that. On the other one, I took my heat gun, I made a mark where that thing hit, and I took my heat gun and I softened it and pushed it in a little bit. That seems to work okay, but I think on this one, I'm just going to leave it because when I get the latch installed, it's gonna tip it a little bit, but it's gonna hold it firm. I don't want it bouncing around. So I'm gonna try that. If I don't like it, the nice thing about these things is they come off fairly easy. So I can do this, I can swing it open and just lift it up, grab onto it, lift it up, and off it comes. So with this bracket here, I put this washer underneath just to space it a little bit more, maybe about 1/8 of an inch off the bed of the truck. I don't know, I just don't like having those things tight to the bed. No big deal about it, it's just the way I roll. So while this is off, I'm just going to push this over there. And these self-tapping screws actually work really quite well. So I just have my 5/16, it should have a magnet in it, but it doesn't. And you just, whoops, okay, it's always when the camera's rolling. I don't know what's going on here. There. And we're gonna put one more in, and then we're gonna call that bracket installed. Once you know how this all goes together, these are not hard to install. Okay, we'll slide that out from underneath. Okay, the other thing you can do with this is my poor little Princess Auto 6-inch level here was out when we were stuccoing, and it's still all dirty, but I use that to get this level. It's not perfect, but it's 1 1/8 inches from here to the back of the truck, and I think it's 1 3/8 inches here, 1 5/8 inches here, sorry. So you can measure it to get it straight. Mine is pulled back a wee little bit because of the droop in the box, but not much. It's just make it level. It'll work out fine. So now the only thing left to do is put, let me go get it, this bracket about there. You can see my dilemma here. This is a universal setup. It's not designed for this, it's not specifically designed for this 2013 Ram. So I needed to make a bracket that I can bolt on and get this right. Now, I should have painted them, but I'm out of black spray paint, so what can you do? But I'm gonna see if I can maybe get you a little better camera angle here and make some marks before you get to watch me do this all in real time. Okay? I'll be back. Well, this is a pain. I wish I could give you a definitive way of doing this, but what I did is I held the bracket in place where I wanted it at about the right height, and then I just put a screw in and I just screwed it on. Now, luckily, I think I had the height right, but the bracket needed to go here. Maybe, I don't know. I can't see here. I don't know where I'm shooting even. The whole bracket needed to move back about 1/2 inch. So I just moved the screw from, I used the same hole. I just moved the bracket back. So, and then when I had it on, I took my little 6-inch level here, and it's moved a little bit again, but I'm gonna just tap it over. Not too much. Oh, come on. Nothing works when it needs to. Put it in there. Actually looks pretty good. Okay, we're gonna leave it like that. And then I tried it, and I got it to lock. Because of this guy here, I need to push in, and the whole box tips a wee bit, but I think I can live with that. I really, really hesitate about maybe taking my angle grinder and cutting that off. These boxes may not be in this truck permanently, I'm not sure. If not, then I can take them out. I still have original box positions, and I need to figure out a way that I can still use that. Often what I do is I take a cargo net And in fact, I have it in here right now. I just push it up to the front and I hook it in the front hooks and leave it out there all the time. So when I haul sheeting or something that I need to tie down, I can pull it over. But I always use this hook here, and I have to figure out how I can do that again. But anyway, so this is in the right place now. So all I need to do to finish this off, okay, where did they go? No, these are from the other one. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, and then I'm going to, okay, see the magnet came out of this thing. It's so annoying. I should really take them back. So you see this bracket here, there's no way that can mount on this truck. So I just took matters into my own hands, made a bracket, and now it's gonna work good. Not sure why that happened. I think I'm gonna give it one more just in case. I'm gonna move up a little bit, move to this hole here. There we go. Okay, that's solid. Now what should happen is the latch should rest on the horizontal part here. Sorry if I'm in the way. And that'll hold it in place and support the weight that's in here. That's the plan anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean up. I've got some rogue screws here. And put those back in a bag. And then the moment of truth has arrived. So I'm going to have to, there. See, look at how nice and firm that is. Plus, you know, not that it would take a lot of weight pushing down here because that latch isn't that strong, but it supports a little bit. And, you know, having that tie position down there isn't really that much of a liability. The other thing I look at, and I didn't get this one quite as nice as the one on the passenger side, is this level here. And I basically just compare it to the tonneau cover track. And it's close. I guess I could measure that. I even have the tape measure here. Okay, I keep one on my keys. So this is about 2 7/16, 2 3/8. I'd say that's close enough. Okay, so yeah, it's great. I'm happy with it. There's a, oh, here, I can show it to you, I think. See how this lock works. See, you gotta get, this is a little awkward. You gotta get in there, but it works. Actually, I think this one works nicer than my other one does. This thing here doesn't go through quite far enough to get to have the whole hole exposed. So, but that really doesn't matter. I don't think I'm ever going to use that because first of all, these things lock. Secondly, I have a tonneau cover that slides over and locks. And you know what? If you're that determined to get my stuff, I'm sorry, I don't think there's much I can do. But anyway, there it is. It's done. So let's get off my knees and let's close this video. Well, another successful afternoon. I've had these here for almost a month, and they were sitting in boxes, and with all the stuff in here, I've got moldings in here that have paint on them, and they get stacked all over the place, and the garden tractor's in here now, which it really shouldn't be. But so it's crowded in here. Plus I've got sheets for my next job lined up here already. And I just needed to get those boxes out of the way and installed. And, you know, considering I believe on sale, they were somewhere around $150 Canadian. So that's not too bad. I think you know, they're a generic box. And you will run into little issues that you may have to improvise to install them. But I don't know, I would bet that custom ones would cost considerably more. I don't really know if I'd want to go to my Ram dealership for these things because I'm sure they'd be very expensive. And to the point where the expense would not justify having them. So now what I'm going to do is, this one's already packed. I've got two wide strap toe straps in there. I think they're both 20 footers. And I've got a 20-foot kinetic rope. Those kinetic ropes are cool because they use tension, or they use spring action to get vehicles out of situations, which is really cool. This one I just threw together for now. This is going to change. I did have one 50-footer, I think, a smaller strap, but a very good heavy one. And I rolled that up and put it in there. But before I did that, I threw all the tools that I'd had in there before. Like there's two wrench sets in there. Yeah, the Imperial and Metric. There's a set of screwdrivers. There's a utility knife and some basics. But that's going to be another thing that I'm going to go through. I'm going to stock these boxes properly, plus my bonus box, which is that third one, the soft bag. And I'm going to properly stock these things for possibly an emergency situation. We do get bad weather out here, and yeah, I'm retired now. We're not driving every day, but we end up heading into Saskatoon when the weather isn't great. And this way, if I get in trouble, I've got things to get me out. If I find somebody else in the ditch, I have a pretty capable four-wheel drive with good tires, and if I have the paraphernalia that I need, I can help them out, rather than having them call a tow truck, which would be probably hours away. So it's the way we do things here. It's kind of the good neighbor thing, and that's the way I like to roll too. I will help. But anyway, so that kind of takes care of this video. Don't know how much I could show you, but I think the key things are, and I've said them already, but I'm going to say them again. These are generic boxes, and you may have to make small modifications to make them work in your application. So for me, it was basically my tie loop that's down under here now. That's covered, and I don't like that, but we'll sort that out. And then the other thing was the latch that mounts to the box. There was no flat area to mount that, so I made a bracket out of, I call it handy angle, and I didn't even paint them, so that's kind of too bad. But yeah, you know, this one I took a little longer to install because I had to figure it all out. This one, I actually didn't go back to compare to that one. I think for a couple measurements for the bracket here, I just wanted to see that they were the same, and it seemed to work out reasonably well. So now we're not quite out of the woods yet. Now the key is I've got to drive with these things. See how they work. If I'm getting them popping loose or bouncing around or whatever, that's not good. We'll have to deal with it. The other thing I'm going to have trouble with is hauling plywood in this truck now. I could maybe get one sheet in here because it would slide underneath, but that's about all. Like, unless I think what I'll have to do, if I know that I'm going to Saskatoon or PA to pick up sheeting, then I'll just take the boxes out. Or maybe leave them in, but when I take them out, load the plywood, and then just throw them on the top flat. But then you got to tie them in. I don't know for sure what I'll do yet, but I don't haul that much. And when I put my trailer on, then none of this matters. So we'll see how that all works. But yeah, that is one bigger disadvantage that I can see right now. And I don't think I could have lifted them any higher, because then I would hit the mounting structure for my tonneau cover. So we're kind of like this now, but we're going to play with it. We're going to see what happens, and we'll do our best. So on that note, a little bit of a different video today. It's basically what I do. So I can't be turning every day, and I have made a lot of turning tools, but can't be doing that every video. So I guess hopefully you're gonna come along for the ride anyway and see what a retired guy does with his time. So on that note, have an awesome week. The weather's getting a little growly out in my area today, and it's supposed to get a little colder and blowing snow the rest of the week. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, have a good week. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the weekend edition. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'm sure I'll think of something. Take care.